Is everyone ready?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Hello, welcome to the Budtender Diaries podcast. The Budtender Diaries is a multimedia platform that aims to provide educational resources and opportunities for budtenders and patients. If you are a member of this community, you have the potential to help create an industry that benefits both patients and the makers of their medicine. So today we have a special episode dear to my heart. We have 3 special guests joining us. First up is Tara, the advertising director, aka my coworker basically at Herbage Magazine. She's also the owner of High Hopes. Also joining us, we have Brooke Miller and Andrew Martin of Sherweed Forest. Brooke is the lead. Hello. Brooke is the lead events coordinator, and Andrew is the founder. And I invited you guys onto the show today because each of you in your respective roles are bringing momentous change into Oklahoma's cannabis industry through hosting events that actually take the extra, go the extra mile to give back to the community. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And so I just thought that we could discuss some of those resources that you are providing, how you guys have managed to pull all of this off. So I am excited to have you guys here today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
What are we smoking?
That is the well-rooted Larry Bird. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Gelato 33.
33.
Oh,
very
man,
nice.
it's so good.
It's very good, very dialed in.
Gelatos are fun for me.
It's a gelato, nice and upregulating.
Yeah.
Should be some good omega-3s.
I don't think I've ever met anybody that doesn't like a gelato, though.
Yeah. That's why it's taken over the world. That and its cousin, Girl Scout cookies.
Come on.
Yeah.
Taken over or at least they had their time.
Oh, yeah.
They definitely made their mark.
Yeah.
So typically I will ask my followers to leave me some questions that I can ask you guys. Mm-hmm. But this was kind of last minute. I saw you guys, Sunday, and we were just kind of like, hey, let's do a podcast. And it was perfect timing because we just wrapped up Tara's event,
Yes.
Home is Where the Weed Is. And as we are filming this, you guys are getting ready for your 6th Sherweed Forest. So that is exciting. By the time this goes up on the internet, we will all be recovering from a weekend of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought I would just ask you a few questions because I guess this is as good of a time as any. I am going to be hosting an event myself this summer. And my main goal with that is to really provide resources for budtenders and patients. So I wanted to surround myself with people who inspire me and pick your brains and kind of figure out how you guys have been making all of this happen.
Yeah.
I think, like we were talking about earlier, people don't even realize what goes into planning an event.
Day to day, it's like we don't stop. I mean, I'll be texting Andrew at 1:00 in the morning, and then we'll pass out, and 6:00 in the morning we're all texting each other again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have to, though.
I barely slept. I'm still thinking
it's
about it.
crazy. We try to make sense of it because we try to advocate for mental health and taking breaks, but sometimes it's just nonstop. We all have this crazy momentum.
There's a time and a moment, and so we have to activate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have a really good crew. Each one of us, we all have a really good crew behind us, too. And we have a collective crew, too, that helps and just picks up pieces and sees where they're needed.
Yep.
It's really nice. It's probably been the first time in a while. It's just so nice to work that way. You know, just people take initiative and step in.
Yep.
Yeah, we all have the same Goal, same focus, same vision. And so when you align yourself with people like that vision, that goal, that's going to be obtained because you're all focusing that good, positive energy on something that involves the betterment of people in general. Medicine and healing and opportunities that create that.
I get that. I was just thinking today about how afraid I am to let other people help me because I'm afraid that their opinions will like change my vision that I have, or
Yes.
you know, kind of like
You have
corrupt
to
it.
watch it, because some people like to put their hands in it, and that's when you have to be like, it's made me learn a lot about myself too, and boundaries, and just being like, you know, this is my thing. Like, at the end of the day, this is my idea, and I need it to be the same. That's why with my event, I was very particular and kept everything very closed off because of that, because I was scared, because it's like your baby. You get one shot, you know, you mess it up, and it's like, it's hard to come back from, you know. We dealt with that with the fourth one, and then coming back, it's like, you know, it builds that for you, but it can be hard.
Yeah. I felt that. I actually thought about that all last week. I was like, God, I bet Tara's like trying to make sure every little thing is perfect.
Yeah,
And
it's like the little things.
it turned out amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, it was way more than I even expected. So I was really proud to be a part of it too.
Yeah, it was an emotional thing. It still is, and I haven't really got to like step back and like really, I haven't even taken a break since,
Soak
and I
it in.
need to. Yeah, it's just a lot. It's a very heavy, and the connections that I made from that is just like the people that reached out to me, I never thought would ever reach out to me. And I knew it was an event that I had to prove what I wanted to bring to the community, because you can talk every single day.
Right.
And until you're doing something, people don't understand. So I wanted to bring something that set a standard for the upcoming events. Like, I want that to be the standard. I want people to provide that education and quit saying they're going to do it. I'm so tired of that. Oh, there's going to be education here, and then it's not organized, or they don't show up, or there's nobody doing anything about it. And it's like, man, you're not even talking about education. You're talking about yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
You're just promoting your
Yeah,
brand.
so-
Your prior credentials of brought you to this
Yeah. So I just saw a need and had a team, and everybody helped me along the way. It wasn't just me. I mean, Jessie is my manager. Basically, she's like, you need to sleep, you need to eat.
Get the
So
binder.
Jesse and her
Yeah.
binder. That's
Yeah.
what I was
The
going to
binders.
say.
She's the most organized person I've ever met in my life.
She's amazing.
She just dropped into our laps like
Yeah.
at a throwdown to help us.
Like Mary Poppins.
Yeah, and
And
she's
has
been
been
like
there.
this
Yeah.
amazing person since.
So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. We are coming up on our 4th anniversary as a legal medical cannabis state. Did any of you guys 4 years ago see yourself in the roles that you are currently in?
No, 100%. 4 years ago, I mean, I was working for a drug and alcohol treatment center, you know, trying to, you know, help people change their lives, help people create better patterns, you know, rather than the alternatives that they would give you. You know, they're pushing pharmaceuticals and different things like that. So, like, I actually moved away from Oklahoma in general because, you know, cannabis was such a, like, oh my gosh, like, no way. And I was like, I can't be here. This is not okay. And so I was completely somewhere else, you know, and I had to like really be like, okay, do I want to make this decision to go back to where I'm comfortable to now experience what it's like to have access to cannabis? Because I can do that anywhere else, but I didn't have that feeling of like another home, right?
Yeah.
And so to be here now doing this, like, I'm extremely grateful, because like I don't think without this community, I wouldn't be where I'm at, you know, today. I wouldn't be able to help people have access to, you know, quality medicine. I wouldn't have the friends that I have, the support, if it wasn't for this community.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to think about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in my backyard hearing that it passed.
Yeah, my next door neighbor's
Such a
son
surreal
was
moment.
the penman, you know, who actually wrote the document. His name's Frank. And so we were like waiting on the porch to hear the official announcement, so they could go down to, what was at the time was a Kendall Whitty or coffee shop. It's changed its name and ownership since then, but that's where the party was. So we're like waiting to see if we were going to go, you know, to celebrate, you know, so that I could continue doing what I had done every day.
Yeah.
But now, like, not risk being in trouble.
Right.
you know.
I wasn't going to stop.
Yeah.
You know, like, even, you know, I grew up in Houston and then moved to Oklahoma. I've always smoked cannabis. I made the conscious decision I need to leave Oklahoma because they're not going to stop harassing me for smoking cannabis until changes happen.
Yeah.
So for my own mental health and things like that, I wasn't going to be here anymore. So,
right.
so once it did,
so it kind of kept you here.
yeah.
Then.
Well, and then, you know, working for a drug and alcohol treatment center, having my own background with addiction and different things like that, cannabis is what kind of helped me, you know, not live that lifestyle anymore. And so working for that treatment center, I would see them pushing pharmaceuticals versus cannabis, and I just couldn't. It hurt me to the core, and I would literally ask them, why do you guys do this? Why do you push pharmaceuticals over cannabis? And they're like, well, we have to pay our doctors, you know. And I was like, what? Like, this is not okay.
Yeah, that's what it all goes back to.
And something happened to where
sad.
to be back home in Oklahoma, and I took the opportunity, and this is what came of it. I was able to help people be like, okay, this is what you really need. It's cannabis. It's not these things, you know. Change these different habits that you have in your life. Add some cannabis to it. Add a community. Mm-hmm. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're not going to be lost anymore.
So, Tara, I want to applaud you for hosting an event that was fully in compliance with OMMA regulations. To anybody listening, if you have been to many cannabis events, you probably know what I'm talking about. But the only samples that I saw leave your event were CBD or non-medicated.
Yep.
I think there were a few Delta 8 options too, maybe.
I think maybe to purchase at a table possibly, but I even try to stay away from that. I just, I had one vendor ask, and I was like, I'd rather not do Delta 8 just because it's the research behind it and stuff, and I'm not a firm believer in it yet. So, I actually sent out an email to all my vendors and everybody. You know, I just said no THC products will be, you know, allowed here, and to give away or anything like that. Obviously, you can smoke outside, your own personal, and I got a really good response from it. But I felt like, and I put it in there basically that you wouldn't be invited back because I need people at my event like OMA. And they can't be there if I'm giving away THC products, and I'm not a believer in giving THC products to an uneducated non-patient.
Right.
That's illegal. That's the problem that we're dealing with. That's why we get these new rules and these laws that come down because people break them. And it's like, as long as we can do it the right way, then we can get more freedom, I think, with things. And we already have a lot of freedom. I just don't want it taken away.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
And so I try to be very careful with that because I don't, like, I get products sometimes places and I'm like, I'm not opening that.
Yeah.
I don't even feel comfortable
Where
giving
did
it
this
to
even come
people.
from?
Yeah, is it your moldy stash that you randomly just, you know, wanted to get rid of? It's not
Do you
tested.
try these
The
things
backpack
before you
salesman
try
it.
it?
come
Yeah,
in
and
the
I was
cowboy
like-
cup and put it in your hands.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want that accessibility. So that was a really big thing. And so I was really happy with it. But then it also painted a good light because people could just go outside and smoke. Like, I don't want to take away anybody's medication or medicating rights.
Right.
You know, you just have to bring your own and be a licensed card holder.
I feel like it created a safe space for vendors who have always been interested in being in compliance too. Because I feel like at a lot of these events where people are handing out samples that are medicated left and right, you feel like pressured to do the same because you want your booth to offer as much as your neighbors. And so I think, you know, it's kind of nice to have an event where vendors can give out samples that, you know, they don't even have to use product in them.
Yeah. And I always think about that too. If you're giving out all your product, what's the incentive for somebody to go buy it? Because most of the time it's not going to be your best product. So I don't think I've ever been impressed with free product at an event, like somebody just handed it to me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go get it now, but I'm more interested in the person that didn't give it to me that was telling me about it. So I'll probably go try that. Yeah. You know, and so that's just my concept anyways. I want the vendor to win. I don't want the vendor to feel like that they have to give out everything.
Right.
You know? Shouldn't be how it is. That's
Yeah,
just
I mean,
my
they
opinion.
put their work into it. I mean,
We're all struggling, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody is struggling. You should make as much money as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So Andrew and Brooke, Sherweed Forest is getting ready for Throwdown Bazaar number 6. How have you guys managed to provide such exclusive discounts and, in some cases, wholesale prices at so many of these events for our patients?
I mean, what we've done is we've sat down with different dispensaries and different dispensary owners. This has all happened over time. We, you know, when we first did this, it was 100% retail markup. You know, we were just creating something, you know, bringing some education to some of these events, you know, where people can actually come connect directly, you know, with the growers and processors, get to know how they're, you know, doing things from A to B, from start to finish, you know. we did the first one at 100%, sat down with them, said, okay, here's an ROI that you guys can, have, whether it's emails or whatever it is, right? We just wanted to create access for patients, right, to have quality medicine at affordable prices. So the next one that we did was like a 75%, retail markup. And then, the third one, we did it with Kind Love, through Kind Love, shout out Kind Love. They were actually so gracious to do a 0% retail markup. And we had, we never envisioned anything like that, but we ran with it. It was given to us and we ran with it. And, it showed that people are looking to, get a couple different types of medicine at affordable prices and be able to try these different things. Most people on a budget, they might...
Taking barriers away.
Right, a lot of people are just going for the 10 for 10s, but now you can come...
Now it's a 10 for 10 and quality product. Right,
you can get all of those things you're looking for, and then somebody can be like, oh, man, you know what? I really resonated with that hash rosin. I've never been able to have something like that, and now I'm going to try and look for things like that.
Right. It is. I do feel like it's particularly great for people who are interested in like hash rosin, because that's normally like $50 to $70 a gram. So if you're getting that at any kind of discount, like it's scary to buy a gram of rosin and not know if you're even gonna like it.
Right.
So to be able to get those discounts and like kind of try and find what you like and what works for you is really neat.
Yeah.
It's like $30.
We knew too at the same time, so that third one was 0%, right? That's not a sustainable number for it to keep happening and things like that. We want to take care of everybody. What this was an opportunity for not just vendors to go to an event and be able to not just sit there and kind of twiddle their thumbs and
pass out T-shirts.
Yeah, hopefully that somebody goes to a dispensary one day and buys their product, right? Like, no, we're gonna explain to you what we do, our process, our ethos of why we do what we do. Most of us have stories. I was either addicted to drugs, or my mother passed away and I wish she would have tried cannabis, or whatever it is. Cannabis hits us in so many different ways.
Well, I mean, you just want quality medicine. You want quality medicine for affordable costs. It shouldn't matter your income. You should have access to quality medicine. You shouldn't have to pick up the crappy Disty cart for $2 because that's all you can afford.
When we go to the dispensaries, we see patients doing that every day in front of us in line. Well, I've only got a 20. But that's the one that works for me. And they're like, well, come back when you have another 5. In the meantime, here's your option.
It's medicine. We forget that. It's medicine.
And
it's been built onto a retail platform, and we're not trying to be a boulder, a polarizing anything, but we do realize that that's a broken concept. You can't sell medicine like retail products like a Target would. Right. Target's beholden to the Clorox wipes that they buy, so they market those to you to get you to buy them, but that's a commodity that you wipe the counters off with. This is a homeostasis pursuit,
right?
That everyone should be entitled to.
It's not a race to the bottom, right? It's an opportunity for a patient, Aunt Susan, to come and connect directly with Alex at Hermetic to find out that they are cultivating and planting on cycles of the moon, different things like that. The education that you get from it, you're getting that opportunity.
Those permanent connecting.
And then with that, you have people, people are now attached to that brand. They've now met that person. They understand why they do what they do, and they're going to go out and seek it, because what anybody tries to do is connect with somebody. And so giving that opportunity, to have patients connect directly with growers and processors in that setting to where they can hear each other. You got family walking around, everybody, it's a lot cooler of an atmosphere. You have the opportunity for people to talk and connect, and that's what this is about. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for us connecting with all of these people. We connect with people, and then we're able to explain our ethos and what we're doing and why we're doing it, and people believe in the vision and what we're doing.
And then it becomes a together process.
It's just wild. Like the brands that have now collabed together and that have stayed with us. I mean, I say with us, I was kind of like on it, but not really at the beginning, just kind of rode with them. And then I joined. The last one was the first one for me to officially join. Yep. And it's crazy to see, because I've seen it from the beginning. I remember Andrew explaining it to me, and I was like, I don't know what this is. Like, we'll see what happens. Okay, this is cool. This sounds good. Whatever you guys want to do, let's all support it. And then when I saw it, it all made sense to me. It just makes sense. For a parent that has to supply their kids' medicine and my own and be in the industry, I can't afford it. And that's what I tell everybody. That's expensive to provide my whole family's medicine, you know? And so that's that day I re-up on all his gummies and everything that he eats and his tinctures, and I'm good.
And then you're still, throughout the month, you're still making
I'm
other
still having
purchases.
to.
And
Yeah,
doing
people
stuff
think
like
that sometimes that you just do that one purchase. That's, something that people say. But I always go heavy, and I still go to the dispensary.
Mm-hmm. And you're just, this is for a flash sale. This is a 5-hour window.
It's a regional market.
Where it does not happen.
Have to be there.
And we're finding out now people are coming from different spots. You know, like you can have an Arkansas card holder still be able to come legally purchase and be like, oh, okay, I can get this medicine. You know, like you're creating access to a lot of people to have quality, affordable medicine.
Think of the market as an island that's already there, and then there's this underserved market that is going to go around that market one way or the other. And what I mean by that is they're going to search for the deals because they have to. So they're not going to enter the market of education. They're not going to enter the market of understanding or even taking the time to meet a maker or to try to educate themselves with a budtender, because I have $20 in my hand and I need you to tell me what the cheapest indica is, because I understand that's going to downregulate me and I can't sleep, so I'm not going to reveal to you that I can't. I've already made that decision before I opened your door, and so patients are already having to pay for insurance that they can't use for this medicine. They're already having to pay for doctors that won't prescribe them or guide them on this medicine. Backtrack from there, they haven't been educated on it. So even if they want to, they don't know what the endocannabinoid system is in a largely educated forum. They're not spending dissertation time on the endocannabinoid system that touches every cell in the human body except cancer. And does that make sense to it? And yet that's our guidance program, you know? So it's like that movie with Joaquin Phoenix, The Joker, you know, if you watch it from a perspective of not a cinematic, you know, Marvel type comic cartoon, you know, but in fact someone in the social system trying to swim through it alone, you know? We're the lighthouse. That's what we aim to try to be, you know, that we can guide you to the safety of a community that can give you precision, that can find, maybe you're a 12-week sativa person, you know, and how are you ever going to find that out if you don't meet the people who specialize in that and can explain why do they take that extra 4 weeks of the lights and nutrition and overhead trimming, or the cultivators growing at the, you know, every day for an extra 4 weeks, you know, the longer time to the market, you know, but there's a reason for that, because it might produce a terpenoline or a humulene or a farnesene combo with the CBG that's unique, you know. And if you look at it from an accountant perspective, it's not going to make a lot of sense because it twists and spirals and grows stocky and tall, and it produces a quarter of what the ice cream cookies produces, you know.
Right.
And so we seek those relationships because that variance is being created naturally in the marketplace. The connective points are out there. They're like stars out there. All we have to do is just get everybody a map. And so right now the bazaar is the way to build that map. You know, if you're a Warcraft fan, you know, it's like that. We're trying to get that light away from that shadow so that more options are viewable. So what is solventless? What is solvent? What is it? What is extract? What is concentrate?
What's no-till? What's not? Yeah.
What is salt? What is no-till? Yeah. And so then people have the power of choice, you know, to be able to figure that out, you know. And today we met with someone who can maybe teach in the long run people how to do these things at home, you know, how to be sustainable with the method of their choice. And that's the ultimate goal, is to be able to provide access regardless of price and regardless of how much money you have in your bank account. You know?
The access is a small piece of it too. You know, like the
I
wholesale
can see
pricing
that.
is a small
Yeah.
part of it.
Honestly,
right?
that's just you have to have a driving factor to get to show people that they need to meet the makers of their medicine.
Yeah, it's
almost,
it's we're putting people in the position to break stigmas. You know, we're not coming out and having a huge party. We're coming out and having, you know, families being able to push their children around,
face
and
painters,
learn
and
about
bouncy
cannabis
houses,
and you know, food and, you know, just different. cannabis affects so many aspects of life, all walks of life. So to be able to put everybody in that setting, you're creating an atmosphere for all different types of new collabs to work together, for mothers to be able to come in and push their strollers and be like, okay, I can come, I can check out this edible that I've always wanted to check out, but, I've never had a babysitter to, I can't take my 3 kids that I have all out of the van at once to go into the dispensary to, try this.
Never mind during when the pop-up might happen, they get lucky enough. So we try to do them frequently, too. So if you miss 3, we'll have another one. Because it isn't a gimmick to us. We think it's something that's needed in the marketplace. We think the brands and the community need it. So we continue. It's
a show and tell. Yeah. People are able to then be like, hey, you know what? I resonate with those people and what they're doing, and other people get to now choose. It's not just, hey, let's go to this and we see the same people there over and over. People are now I get to look at all these 35, 40 different vendors, and I get to go through and be like, you know what, this one's going to best suit me, this one's going to best suit me, and I'm going to continue to look for those, even not at this, because now I've been able to try
back at home.
Yeah.
The way I see it, you guys are kind of recognizing that affordability has been, like, the priority in this community, and taking that and, like, making affordability accessible for, like you said, 5 hours of flash sale. But by doing that, you're also helping shift the perspective towards education and resources. Instead of what's the cheapest thing I can find, maybe like, how can I educate myself better to maybe like start growing some of these products that do work for me at home? Or how can I find more resources that help me find medicine that's affordable, that way it's not,
exactly.
I'm just buying the cheapest thing that's available.
Everyone has their chroma. Everyone has their mark, whether we talk about finances, in economics, we talk about consumption and needs, effect, remedy. And so you're exactly right. Everyone deserves to find that and then be able to sustain that and therefore in perpetuity. Because herbs are abundant. Food could be abundant. It's all available to us.
Right.
So it's a human right. The earth is here to provide for us. Right?
And it's just a shame we don't know as much as we, like our ancestors did, about all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is great. And I do kind of want to backtrack a little bit. You mentioned you guys aren't feeding the bottom, but some people feel like through offering such exclusive discounts, even just 1 day a week, that you might be hurting cannabis businesses.
I've thought about this a lot. I can kind of give you a numbers statement on it, okay? Because we hear this, and we thought about it, and that's why we probably wouldn't accept a 0%.
No,
I don't know if we would
it's
going
not
forward.
Sustainable. Even
again, we don't want to be polarizing, so kind of put that out there. However, when it comes to a reduction in price for a limited time in a region for a period, on an amazing day, we might do $20,000, and we're all going, we're gonna celebrate on Sunday. Maybe shed some tears, that we've done such a thing, right? Okay. How many patients are there in just the Tulsa County alone? Let's just start to think about this. There's thousands of them.
Right.
So $20,000 in a bucket of 1 day of a month with 30 or 29 other days in it in one county. If you're a business investor and you're looking at the economics of that situation and you're worried about that, you're worried about like a quarter of a 0.1% of your total economic tug of war, which I thought was free enterprise. So I thought it was cool to grab the ropes. I thought that's what you wanted us to do. So and even with our ethos and our empathy, we want to grab the rope and do it with thought and with like intention. So we do that, but we pull as hard as we can. But we want it to be sustainable. But it's just not. That's not real.
Yeah.
Like that's that they've told it to our face. We've gone to business meetings with millionaires.
Talked about it,
millionaires. We don't have we don't have $100,000 between the three of us sitting here. If you put a knife on my throat and said, give it to me now, we couldn't get it to you.
We were like, it'd be a couple days, man. But
he's dead, and we'll just try for the next person. You know?
That's it.
So, and we have those people. You're telling me, I mean, you're going to make me start talking like Tupac. You know, like why you messing with me? You know, we're completely self-made, worthless, and we're not supposed to be here.
Well,
and so that's just not true. And so we understand that, respect that. That's why we do look for the bottom line to make sense for everybody involved. We want the dispensary to make. We want the budtenders to be paid. We want everyone to be happy and want to talk to us the next day, and we want the patients to be served. But that's not our end game. But so yeah, that's just look at it from a number standpoint. We don't do 20,000. We do more like 8,000 or 5,000, you know, or something like that.
Which, if you think about the number of patients, that actually is like
the
you're
most
helping
we've
a
had
lot
is like
of
175. Like an order. I think that was kind love. So if you think of 175 patients as a threat to all of Oklahoma.
Yeah, really look at it.
Well, it's not even.
Then we don't have an industry. If that's the case, is what I'm trying to say.
Underlining things to that too. At the same time,
there's exposure elements
there's
to that because people can do the math.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you have a grower taking their flower to a dispensary for $3 a gram. You go in a week later, and that flower is on their shelf for $12 a gram.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, so the grower just did all that work, and now you're doing 150% markup, and you're making all the.
There's a little bit of exposure and transparency.
Yeah.
There's
put it that way.
Anytime you expose or make something transparent, you're gonna have an you know, shock, and that's not what it's about. It's just about creating access for patients and going right back to where everything is at.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing. Like, if a lot of these companies are giving out samples, and that's got to add up. So I think people will eventually start asking questions about that too. Like, wait, how can you afford to give away all this free product? You know, whereas if you guys are going through the dispensary, it's not like it is wholesale. It's not free. The cultivators and processors are getting back what they put into it. The dispensaries are getting paid. Like, everyone's walking away happy.
That's the end game. That's where we wanted to arrive on this journey.
So if you're worried about business, maybe get involved.
Yeah.
Well, because not just that, you're in a setting now where it's now not just an event for patients to come connect directly. Now you are an owner, a grower or a processor, and you have 40 other vendors in the same venue in the right setting to where you're about some form of education. You want the betterment of that to be in our community. So now you get to go walk over there and go talk to that processor, and man, I've been waiting to talk to you, and I really like what you're doing, and now let's collab, because that's what's been happening all organically from the throat out.
Things that we didn't even kind of plan or think for that are happening, just putting them in the room like a breakfast club.
Yeah.
It just happens. You know?
Yeah.
It's like magic.
It has been really cool, and we formed a family out of that too, with vendors. There's vendors that are there every single time. We personally are friends now, so it's
Some
really
of our
cool.
dreams are the ones that you would say, are struggling, right, or starting out, and then we can watch them go to another level.
Midi
having anything to do with
exploded.
Oh yeah. I love seeing her.
I talked to her one time, like when she won the Herbage Awards. And then I was like, okay, you've got to do this sheer weed forest thing. It was like I think she was first event, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's been there
she's
every time as much as possible.
Yeah, yeah. And her brand, just her collaborations that she's at, That's What Tears and Mowdy Farms and all these different people. It's cool.
I love that. My mom is currently in the middle of rebranding and kind of adjusting her business.
Yeah.
But she's really looking for it. She was like, I just want to be at Sherweed. Like, I just want to booth at Sherweed.
Has she been yet?
So that's like her goal. She's tried to go to a couple.
Okay, I didn't.
We always get up there way too late. Yeah. And then we make it to Studio 30 after.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we probably didn't help you. We moved this one up, and we're gonna probably do this from now on, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah. We want to capture that post lunch kind of opening crowd.
People going to shop on Saturday.
Wait, you're still going to have vegan food there, right?
We have gluten-free and vegan options every time.
Heck yeah.
Always.
That's my favorite part. Like, I don't see a lot of cannabis events where I can actually eat. So
Yeah,
that
I wanted to
is-
make sure if you're going to come and be trapped in a little facility with us with some difficult parking,
Yeah.
get you some restrooms and some good food and
Keep
some
you
good
hydrated.
education and hydration.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
important.
maybe
That's
some
what I was
bubbles and
thinking
some
about
face
mine,
masks.
because I hear that a lot as people. A lot of people in the cannabis industry are vegan, gluten free, very health conscious. So that's what I did at my event too. I was like, we have to have something up for everybody. I know you can't like just chow down on everything that we have, but at least something to eat.
Absolutely. I was impressed. I was like, there's actually hummus on this table, and not just one like bowl of hummus just thrown out there. It was like 2 different flavors.
Dude, those
Yeah,
girls,
we find the
they're
specialty ones.
yeah, they just overdid it. It was amazing.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
The way they had that set up.
I know. I'm like, okay, start your Instagram, get your name, get your LLC, let's go.
And to shout out
Yeah.
Middies last time, they brought something to the effect of that last
Yeah.
time for us to throw down. Boxes, little snack boxes
Oh, I love
Those
that.
were super
Yeah.
cute. Yeah,
that had hummus and celery, and
It was good.
we need to tell her to do that again.
that was great.
Yeah,
They're so creative.
yeah.
So Tara, your platform kind of offers a space for newer patients as well as parents that have pediatric patients. What if you had to, this is something I've been asking my Instagram followers lately, but if you had to offer a first-time patient one piece of advice about cannabis, what would you say to them?
Like first time trying it, I would say go straight to somebody that has education to ask about it. I would go straight to somebody like online or find a doctor of some sort that actually can educate you on that. I wouldn't go to a budtender or anything like that unless it's like that budtender is educated or that dispensary provides education. But my advice would be go straight to a doctor or an educator, actually what you're going for. And that was the cool thing about Sunday is that a lot of people that have never tried cannabis got to talk to educators, and now they are already educated and they already know what terpene they want. They already know all this. I mean, when I started in this industry, I didn't know what a terpene was. I didn't know what a cannabinoid was. I didn't know any of this stuff. And so, and I've always smoked cannabis. So I can't even imagine just coming into it and then having to learn all these things. And then like, just like the simple things. I think Dr. Pepper even said it. She just said, your nose knows. And it's like just those things that we just know automatically, but a lot of people don't know that. They're just like, why would I smell all this weed?
Right.
So just providing that baseline education would be my biggest advice.
Absolutely. And I think, don't quote me on this, I'll have to have Naomi come in on the comments and like correct me if I'm wrong. But
Yeah.
I
She's like-
think that Americans for Safe Access have made it so that in Oklahoma, physicians can continue their education and get a cannabis care certification that I guess certifies them to educate patients about cannabis, educate other physicians, things like that, and hopefully like incorporate it into their practice a little bit more. So
Well, with those new House bills coming in, 818 provides education, like education license and stuff like that. And so I've thought about it as well. But it's interesting. It's cool. It's neat to see all the resources out there that we're not aware of.
yeah, because honestly, when people started talking to me about terpenes and like, I mean, they barely knew what they were talking
You can barely
about.
say them.
I was
mean,
like,
half the
this
time
is
I'm like,
overwhelming. Yeah, I just don't want to take the time to learn about this.
Yeah.
But then I literally walked into a dispensary that was like, here is this education. You will learn it because you work here. And I was like,
That's how-
okay, heck yeah.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Right
and
Yeah,
there
they
is
do it right
exactly
there.
how it should be.
Yep.
yeah.
100%.
It
I
was
shouldn't have to
empowering.
coach my mom on how to go in
No.
to a dispensary.
Oh, gosh. I would
and,
never want anyone to even
Hey,
send anyone in anywhere.
don't-
Yeah.
Try and stay away from the 10 for 10, like the 10 for 10 pre-rolls. Like go and do some a little bit of research, let's see
Absolutely.
the smalls, let's see the big, there's different ways on how to purchase, and
The plant
providing
provides
that
it naturally, if you
education.
will.
It's giving people, the option to then learn exactly what's going to work best for them.
Yeah.
I go for a clementine terpene profile every time because that's what my body's like. Hey, get
Screaming
that.
for.
Citrusy, yeah.
Yeah, it's just over and over.
That
People
mirror-
get to
that mirror
learn.
scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I loved that Dana from Devotion, Dana Duncan, she did the testing. She went over all the
That was
testing.
amazing.
Yes,
she
Wes.
called me after and she's like, I'm so sorry I nerded out. I was like, that was the best part.
That's what we wanted.
I was
That
like,
was the
you
best thing I've
zoomed
seen
in
yet.
and pointed to a trichome. I was
Yes.
like, when I talked to each speaker, I was like, go back to the basics. Act like you've never smoked cannabis and you or somebody had never smoked. And she really, I mean, there was questions on there that she answered for me that I didn't know, you know, and to that. And when I was beginning to like the medical side of it, especially for my son, if you try to go in and ask for test results to a dispensary, most of the time they don't have it ready or
Yeah.
it's not around or
They
anything
look
like
at
that.
you like you're speaking
But
a
to know
different
it's your
language.
right to have those test results and immediately, okay, I'm out the door. I'm not buying anything here.
Yeah.
You know, you can do that. And sometimes people need to hear that.
She
you,
also
They
gave
absolutely
indicators
do.
of how to visually shop for cannabis. You know, to look for heads that you can see with the naked eye.
Oh,
You
it
know,
was
she
great.
explained how
Yeah.
to do that. Those
It
are
was
things you don't
amazing.
hear,
Yeah, she did wonderful.
every day. Basic 101s on how to even shop in there. So that was amazing.
yeah.
Which
Definitely
isn't-
nods to her. We'll tell her on Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, in
Yeah.
the future, she'll see this later. But,
Do it again.
but
Yeah,
that
for
was
sure. She's
the
always
best
there.
one. I mean, shouts to her. That was the most
Just-
powerful
yeah.
one for me.
Crazy. Yeah.
That really
Everybody-
was great because I do feel like, you know, you can look at the test results and they'll tell you something, but that was cannabis that was tested weeks ago. What is actually on the shelf may not accurately represent those test results because, you know, all of those trichomes you pointed out have been shaken off of there
Yeah,
from
it's not easy. Yep.
Are you getting
And
the
the
bottom
piece
of the
that-
barrels?
yeah.
It's been 3 months
Yeah.
from then.
When's the harvest date?
Yeah,
like,
that
how
whole
long is
stuff.
it?
I mean, I didn't know have to have, you know, when what she says, she consumes her medicine within
I think she said 60 days.
60
to
days.
90 days? Or
60 to 90 days, something like that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So if she
Yeah.
buys an ounce, she'll go.
Everybody
Yeah.
has different opinions, though. We just met
Yeah.
someone today who he had an age jar that he was also excited about.
Yeah,
to
6
show us
months,
an
and
example.
you
6
cracked
months
it
age.
open. I mean, it was
If
cured
preserved
right.
properly,
So-
if cured
Yeah.
properly, if
Still-
slow cured
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah.
We say it all the time. Everybody's an expert.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to make sure they're actually
Yes.
Yeah.
educated.
Yeah.
Well, and that's another thing. Like, everybody's an expert, but they're all just their own guinea pig. Like,
Yes.
we were all just learning on ourselves.
Yeah.
So what works for them may not work for you.
Exactly.
And
It's gone a long way, like where we're at now, versus people smoking out of pop cans back
Yeah.
in,
Or an
you know.
apple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
Behind the
God.
garage
Yeah. It's
with the
crazy.
KB.
who would have thought?
Yeah.
I will say I've never smoked out of an apple.
Really?
I don't
You
even
got
feel
to.
like a real
You've got to.
stoner.
It's
Yeah.
it tastes good
I've
too.
smoked out of a pop can though.
Yeah,
It's pretty much the same thing. Just a
The
little-
That's way
apple's
worse.
probably
Way
a
worse,
little
yeah.
healthier.
Yeah, it's so much better. No aluminum.
right. No,
So this is kind of a question for the whole group. Something that I have heard other hosts of events get asked, and something that I get asked, and something that really irks me sometimes is you're only in this for the money.
Oh man.
You're just trying to take money from patients, take advantage of patients. I clearly know that is not true about you guys. That is why I invited you on the podcast. Like, I see how you're helping the community. But have any of you been met with that criticism? Like,
I
how did
was.
you
People
respond?
love to write things on Instagram.
I just got actually a Facebook troll. After I posted a post about the event and
I saw
everything,
that.
and I got a massive Facebook troll. And I don't think that way, and so I read it and was just like, oh, she's talking about other people making money, but she was talking about me making money. I'll be really freaking transparent with anybody that asks me. I'm in the whole $800 from that event, and I meant
Right.
to do that, and that's fine. I took on that responsibility. I didn't go after sponsors to make any dime. I mean, that's never been my goal, and I don't think that you can be sustainable going after the dollar. I really don't think that you can. If that's your motivator in this industry for medicine, I don't think it's long lasting. And so I'm super transparent with people. I'm like, that is not it. And that's fine. I'm not saying that to make anybody feel any certain type of way, but I did not go into anything expecting to make anything. So it is a little disheartening when we hear things like that, but it's also just funny because it's like,
right. I
if you only knew.
we started this whole thing, right, as patients ourselves.
Yeah.
I would go personally to other events and see people coming up to somebody's booth and being like, where can I get that at?
Yeah.
And then you've got the owner of the business, what? They sound
Yeah.
like Little John, where can I get what?
Yeah.
And so, I'm like, okay, so how do we create something to where people can actually learn and actually make educated purchases and things like that? So, as a
Okay.
patient, as somebody, what do we need to change? Okay, well, let's turn down some of the music. Let's make it to where everybody can enter the building regardless of smoke or anything like that. Let's keep the smoking outside.
It was like parameters.
Let's have options, right? We didn't create this to make money. We created this to give people another option, to have the choice, not to just go somewhere and stand out in the hot sun and, have alcoholic beverages and do everything like that. Like, to have an event to where you can learn, you can grow your own business, you can break a stigma throughout your own family, bring a family member with you. We didn't do this to go and make money. We did this to bring change and bring education to a community that was lacking it 100%.
Yeah.
It wasn't there. I mean,
and people should also too, if you do make money off of it, I mean, that's the goal. Don't get us wrong,
That's
because there's
work.
a lot of time, and we have families
It's a
and
full-time
babies to
job
feed.
at the end of the day.
So a lot of people think all the time, like, oh, if you have an event, you have to get it all charity, or you can't make a profit. But it's like, when you're spending that much time, you should be. That's the end goal, is to be able to make money off of it, so you can focus on that and give it all your passion. Like, I can't have high hopes events all the time like I would like to, because I can't afford it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I make money one day, I hope so, because then I can provide more education, help more people.
Exactly.
Everybody should get
I
paid.
hear a lot of people say education should be free, and I look at our public school system.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's free for the students, but who pays for it? The community.
There's nothing free.
That's why I told everybody too. I was like, with my educators, I'm like, I want to at least pay your way to get here. Like, this is your time. Your time is valuable, and what you have learned, you've spent money to learn that. You should be able to get paid for that. And that's just my ethos with high hopes and home is where the weed is. And I think it will keep those people around too, because they're valuable. Like, I mean, we get asked all the time to make content for people, and it's like, well, it takes time out of my day to do that. We should be getting compensated for that. So I'm very for paying creators, paying people, educators, things like that.
Yeah, the people who are commonly getting the short end of the stick in this industry.
They do.
Yeah, there are lots of areas in this industry too that you can make a living. But from literally everybody I know that hosts cannabis events, it takes a while to get there. No, cannabis events are not like a cash crop by any means.
No.
And the way I see it, I have all of these other endeavors in my life. By hosting events, I'm getting into my community, I'm meeting new people, I'm creating a network. I'm creating opportunities for myself that will benefit those other areas of my life. So if I don't make $1, planning and hosting an event, I'm okay with that. If I want to continue to do it, you said, that's something to consider. But yeah.
Well, and if there was more stuff like this available when I was younger, growing up out here, we might not have ran into some of these issues of being bored Oklahoma kids going to find escapes in pharmaceutical drugs and things like that, because we could comfortably go to an event that has cannabis, a medicine, a community.
No drinking.
Everything.
Hallelujah.
Having options like that 10 years ago, I'd probably have friends still alive, and it's so to be able to have that today is what it is about. It wasn't, hey, let's do this to, make a bunch of money. It was just, we wanted to see something different.
Yeah.
At the same time, we wanted to see community. I've always looked, for other, at other people as a, family and things like that. My family's all over the country, and so when you find that community, you bond together, you stick together, and you're more active.
It's kind of weird how it all
You're going to do less dumb
too.
shit. Let's be real.
We always say...
You have more people holding you accountable.
Yeah.
We always say we live in a simulation. It's very weird. I met Brooke at a water park party, and then I just reached out to him because he was, in the community a lot. And I was like, what are you doing? And we met up at the Kush dispensary, which is also ironic that they're doing our after party this time. And we just connected, and then we jumped on the train with Green Social and did that. And then I met Andrew and actually James at, the same event. And it's, still ingrained in my mind, how I met both of them. It's still such a weird experience for me. And then just connecting with Andrew through a lunch with Brooke, and then me and Brooke went with Andrew. It's just weird. It's just weird how it happens. It's this team just grew, and it was we couldn't avoid it.
Yeah.
nobody could avoid it.
It is wild.
Yeah.
I love a good kismet story.
Yeah.
Oh, we all see numbers. I mean, I know you're into that too. We all we're always pointing it out to each other, like just weird things, like walking in, talking about Hermetic, and then boom, the first thing I look at is that stinking grinder of Hermetic. I'm like, God, it gives me chills.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
That is wild. that grinder has carried me far, and
Great grinder.
after this I'll have to show you the little Keef catch because I don't think I've dumped it once. So that baby is packed. I got that like around the same time that I started working at Mosaic. So like most of the flour that's been in there is like resonant, hermetic, like native veteran. So it's a sticky little grinder. Yeah, I love that. I love the hermetic guys too.
Oh, they're wonderful.
Alex
the whole
great.
team.
They'll be here this weekend. Yeah, they're wonderful people. Good spirits. Good energy.
Awesome. Okay, so what piece of... I'll start by saying this. The point of the Budtender Diaries is to help provide resources for budtenders who, like me, even in the dispensary that I worked in, I was given a lot of resources, but there was still a lot of gaps. Like I couldn't find information about specific cultivators, or I couldn't find information about products. And that's not like anybody's fault. It's just really hard to put all of that information out there. So that's kind of the point of this platform, is to help provide those resources, to help kind of bridge the gap between the cannabis brands and the people that are selling those brands. But with that being said, there are a lot of budtenders in this industry that want to be more involved in the community. They want to continue their education, to provide more resources for their patients. What kind of advice would you give to somebody who is really looking for opportunities to give back to the community?
I would say we just getting a group of like-minded people together, and then coming up with that idea and then doing the things to actually execute and deliver that idea. Because this whole, the Throwdown Bazaar, I mean, this was a vision, that we had to come together and see between ourselves, and then we had to then explain ourselves to other people, to then, explain the ethos of why we're trying to do it. And, other people then did the same thing. So, the more you have people around you, like-minded, I say go for it. Do it. Do your things, but, keep your people around you.
Yeah.
I think we all looked at the community and how we could help it too, and just seeing where you fit in and finding those people that are like-minded that you can do it with, because it's almost impossible to do it by yourself. It would be so draining trying to fight this fight with just by yourself.
Gosh, yeah.
That would be my advice, is just to find people. And if you don't find anybody, I mean, we're always here. We always are bringing in people and helping people at least connected with. We have so many resources of people that we've met, just being in the industry and being in the positions that we're in. So we're always willing to help too. If you just can't figure out what it is, I mean, just simple things. I invited Curtis to do the barista, the coffee stuff and he's a barista at Gypsy, which is connected to a dispensary called Euphoria. And he messaged me and he was like, man, I've never been in a space like that where people are so kind and so sweet, in an event like that and all this stuff. And it's just inviting them. I think as industry people, we need to be more aware of inviting budtenders. Owners of dispensaries need to get their budtenders in that. It's really their responsibility to provide those resources if they're your employee as well, to me. I mean, that's kind of what I think, Can't be expected to be educated. You need to help provide education. So I think we should be inviting budtenders, other people in the community.
Definitely.
I always send out every event, for my herbage event, and then for the Home is Where the Weed Is, I always go out and find people in the community, and I send them a personalized card with a comp ticket or something.
Oh, I love
that. Way they can come. Kimberly Green, I don't know if you know who she is, but she's an autism mom and she's in the cannabis industry. And I was I really want to meet her, but sometimes if you don't invite people, they don't. I've never met her, so why is she gonna just come to my event? She doesn't really know me, so she came, and it just bridges that gap and makes people feel included.
Yeah, and I mean, a personal invite is.
No one does that anymore.
Yeah,
To
let somebody know that,
it's even weird to ask anybody for their address anymore.
Yeah.
I'm can I send this to you? But it goes a long way. So sending out those invites or personally inviting somebody, I would encourage people to do that.
Yeah.
That and I mean, I mean, educated budtenders, right? They're the liaison for, the grower to the I mean,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you can explain, your flower, what it is to somebody, if they choose to be educated and share that information, with the patient, then that's the goal. That's what we want. A lot of people might not do that, so like the ones who are paving the way and getting educated and spreading that knowledge, it's like just believe in yourself and like don't give up and like demand that everybody else around you do that same thing.
Right.
Because like if not, you're just gonna have a bunch of craziness going around, like it's not medicine at that point. There's not education, you're just like, oh yeah, that's on sale. You
it's
want
just
it?
a product.
Cool. You want it? Cool.
Yeah.
Like, just get it out of here so I can go order some more stuff.
Yeah, 10 for 10.
Yeah.
What's the best deal I can give you? Yeah.
Right. But then when you have the educated bunch, you're creating a connection. They're walking in the door. You know each other by name. You know that Miss Susan only wants flour. She's not really gonna go for an edible. You're gonna show her this and that, and you're going to explain to her, oh, okay, hey, this new one that we've got in, it's right along the lines with what you normally go for. Why don't you check this out? It's going to, have the same effects, the same euphoric feelings, that you want, whatever it is, whatever you're looking for, and you can then, explain that to them.
Absolutely. I recently wrote a post about the words I don't know, how they're like the worst words to hear in the dispensary. Because you're like, how is this cultivated? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I
the
would
worst.
turn around and walk out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
not let me find out.
it happens. Like, you don't always know. So, yeah, let me find out.
Let's
But
find
what
out together.
happens, like, when you're trying to find out and that information is not available.
And there's no one else working but you in that position.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I love events like these where people can really, like, get to know the people that are making their medicine. Because, I mean, even just diving into the right questions to ask is a whole, like, mountain to climb.
Exactly.
And then
We were talking about that this morning, about how to ask the right questions to get the answers that you are trying to search for. So if you're trying to look for a certain kind of medicine, you're going to ask certain questions, and you're not going to just leave it to where, no, you're going to ask, you have an end goal.
What a refreshing thing to see it. Like we have our event this time with partnering with Seed Dispensary, and we were in the back packaging yesterday, and we could hear all the patients coming in. And we don't spend, either one of us has really spent like a whole lot of time in a dispensary.
No, we're blessed.
Yeah, and we heard so many cool questions happen. Like, hey, I've got Crohn's disease. I've got this, and those budtenders were so educated.
Made me very excited for this weekend.
It was very exciting, and I don't think I've ever been in a dispensary. I've been in Mosaic, but I've never been in when another patient's come in and ask a question. And so hearing that and having that opportunity, I was like, wow, that's really cool that they're providing that. So shout out to Seed. Because that was awesome.
I will say I love my job that I'm doing now, but I miss it so much.
That patient interaction.
I almost want to cry thinking about it, because I had so many regulars, and I just loved my customers, and I loved talking about cannabis all day.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to work in a dispensary where I would use every product that they sold in good faith. But I know that some people aren't that fortunate, and I really, I love to see when budtenders are still passionate about their job. Like, they're working with what they have. Like, you'll go in and they will literally show you the golden product that they would themselves use.
Yeah, you can tell when they're just trying to push a product on you, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to get a little bonus this month if I sell so many of these.
That's why I was excited that you were doing this, because really, they're the most important asset between a patient and a grower.
Or none.
Yeah. It's crazy, and people don't realize that. And so even like growers taking the time to educate on their flower, and just little tips of like, have this, or just little tips like that. And then packaging, think about your packaging. Like we were talking to Stephanie from Yum Cookies. She's got a whole dialogue, but she needs that because she might be in a dispensary where that budtender has no idea. Read the whole package. Okay, here you go. And who's going to remember that the first time? I got to read it myself. So I want to go home and be able to read it as well.
Right. Or like stickers, cards that you throw on the counter.
Yeah,
like,
educational stuff. You have to. I mean, like extra literature, anything like that. I mean, like
QR codes.
highest intent kills that. Mint kills that. You know, like those little cards that just go so far.
Yes.
I need to get highest intent on here.
Yeah,
Oh,
very
shut
great
up.
product.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Their
Come talk
products
to me, guys.
very good.
Okay, so my last question for you guys. What is next? I'm going to start with Tara. What is next for High Hopes? Are we going to see... I've actually had people messaging me, asking me, when is the next Home is Where the Weed Is event?
So I'm going to do it every quarter.
Okay.
I kind of put a poll out there to see. I mean, monthly would kill me. I can't do that. But I think every quarter is what I'm looking at. And the end all game would be to have this go on 10 times in the month, but everywhere in Oklahoma. You know, something like that. Maybe one in Ardmore, maybe a little tiny one where Susan just invites her friends and she brings in 2 educators that fit right to them. You know, they can open up their homes and have their own people, because that's what we also notice. Like, people aren't ready. I think we'll get there where more people will come, but like just those close knit people. So, setting up high hopes for a nonprofit. That's super exciting. I'm going to do some nonprofit work, really get the podcast off, and then, trying to do something with a High Hopes line for products for kids.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah. I rep a lot of other products that I love, but I go to these brands, I'm like, I need a little bit different ratio, you know, for what I need. I'm like, I need like a natural sugar and I can't use that dye. So I've been working with a couple brands to try to formulate something.
Okay. I look forward to hearing more
Yeah.
about that. That's
I'm
exciting.
excited. Yeah. Expand
Awesome.
it some more.
And what is next for Sherweed Forest? I know you guys have events happening every month.
It's nonstop.
Like, where do you guys see yourself in a year?
Should we, I guess, just let the people know now? Like, we're going to be bringing this to Oklahoma City pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, we want to... the future is taking this...
We have a date and a name. Just say it.
July 16th, Tradecraft Farms.
Yeah, Tradecraft
Hell
Farms.
yeah.
The goal is to, take Throwdown to other places.
Same concept. Yeah.
This farmers market style show and tell interaction between patients and growers and processors, and just create this access, all throughout Oklahoma, not just Oklahoma. Like, there's other cannabis consumers that need education, and they don't have it like that. So,
we will expand other states.
Taking it and doing it one weekend, someplace else. And just, hopefully that type of education catches on and it goes everywhere.
Yeah, we look at you at Emma from Eminent Consulting and Matt, and we see what sustainable education can provide.
Right.
So if you talk about the future, not just expansion through physicality and location, but also creating sustainable education and resources. I think that's the most simple way to explain our path, is that we believe every human being deserves homeostasis and access to abundance. So we will do everything we can to evolve our platform until it's accessible to more people. That's always the goal. Creating sustainable platforms to do that.
Get other markets interested in education too. I feel like a lot have sold out, so we're excited.
Yeah. I've I have thoughts on that. I'm not gonna share them here yet, but maybe once the audio isn't recording anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it has been amazing to talk to you guys today. I have like a billion more questions actually, but you'll just have to come back,
We'll
or
do it
maybe
again.
I'll have to come to you sometime.
Thank you. This is great. Thank you for what you're doing too.
Yeah,
this is
most
huge.
definitely.
Thank
awesome.
you. It feels, honestly, it just feels like a passion project. I don't feel like I'm sacrificing anything. I'm literally just doing what makes me excited. So I think that's pretty cool. And I'm meeting a lot of cool people in the process. So
a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, great stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. And I'm meeting a lot of cool people in the process. So
a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, great stuff. Thank you to everyone that has been listening. You can check back every Wednesday for a new episode. You can also pick up the latest issue of Herbage Magazine to read the monthly Budtender Diaries editorial. So with that being said, I think we should all get super duper high.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Smoke some of this well rooted we got.
Yeah, right?
Heck yeah.
Come on.